Welcome back to the Miami Arena for Game 5 between the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. Starting lineup for the visiting Knicks. Up front, the familiar face of Patrick Ewing with Kurt Thomas and Larry Johnson on the wings. Johnson averaging 12 points a game throughout these playoffs. And in the backcourt, the point guard Charlie Ward. Ward averaging 5 assists per playoff game. And Allen Houston, 16 points a game. Jeff Van Gundy is the New York Knicks coach, the embattled coach, trying to hang on to his job. Some New York reports say if he doesn't advance in the playoffs, he may be gone. The Miami Heat starting 5 looks like this. Up front, P.J. Brown, Alonzo Mourning, MVP candidate, averaging 22 points, 9 rebounds a game. And the struggling Jamal Mashburn, only 2 points in Game 4. Tim Hardaway's been in a big shooting slump, 24% shooting in the playoffs. And Dan Marley, the defensive stopper. And Pat Riley, the Miami Heat head coach, the former Knicks coach, who is the all-time leading playoff coach in terms of wins. And before the tip, let's check in with Jim Gray.
He told his team the following. He said, guys, remember Game 5 last year. That's all I've got to tell you. If you remember that pain, remember that hurt, you will not want to repeat what happened in their loss here in Game 5. As for Jeff Van Gundy, he only had 4 words for his team. Just kick their butts. Tom?
All right. Well said.
Simple as that.
Hugh Evans, Jim Clark, Ed F. Rush are the officials for today's Game 5. The winner moves on to face either Atlanta or Detroit. The loser ends the season.
Quick start necessary for Miami. Build off this raucous reception that they got from their fans here.
Alonzo Mourning, guarded early by Kurt Thomas. Fall away over in the corner, and Mourning connects for the first bucket of the game.
You know, we've been here a lot of times, and we have never felt this kind of energy from a Heat crowd, so they're anticipating something very big, and what the Knicks are going to have to do to combat it is have some quick strikes of their own.
Ewing answers Mourning's bucket. The two former Georgetown players who are summer rivals as they have picked up games all summer long, of course, on-court NBA rivals as well.
A duplication of Game 1 in this series where both centers, Mourning and Ewing, went at each other.
P.J. Brown strokes the outside shot for his first bucket. 3 shots taken, 3 shots hit. This is the second possession for the Knicks.
Eight on the shot clock for Kurt Thomas.
Thomas too hard off the glass. Brown with the outlet to Hardaway.
Now, as the Miami Heat come out, I think the secret in this ball game for winning for both teams is going to be cheap buckets. There's not a lot of transition in the Heat game. They have to grind it out. They go through those stretches where those jump shots don't fall.
Thomas gets it to Larry Johnson, guarded by Mourning, and the first foul of the game called.
Terrific referee squad here in what promises to be an emotionally charged game. Real cheap foul as Larry Johnson rolls across the lane, fading away. They bail him out and put him on the line. Larry's been stepping up. His three-point attempts have skyrocketed as he is trying to redefine his game and open up the middle a little bit.
The foul, by the way, on Jamal Mashburn as Johnson misses the first free throw.
Whether the foul was on Mashburn or not, he put his hand up. They want to make sure Mourning sticks around. Mourning has had a great series. Mashburn has been struggling. Who would you rather see pick up the foul as Johnson gets the second?
Larry Johnson appears to be wearing a special belt on the back of his uniform there, Steve.
What is that, Steve?
Well, that's his athletics reporter, but he wants to keep his shirt in. You know, we got rules around here, and now you got a new dress code. Mourning.
Reach-in foul, Allen Houston.
And there have been a lot of people that think that's a back brace. It isn't. You know, as they swing this ball around, it's moving too freely. That's a concern for Van Gundy. You can't just move ball, move people, and then think you're going to be able to react at the end and make a save. Houston with the foul.
But Steve, one of the nice things about these two teams is that they're not like a lot of the other squads around the league who rely on that automatic, mindless dumbing down of the game where you just come in and double team everybody. They play guys head up, the Knicks and the Heat. That's going to force the stars here to come up with creative offensive games.
And there's Larry Johnson's fashion statement as he retreats down court. Well, Pat Riley, for one, almost always refuses to distort his defense by double teaming. He'd rather play them tough straight up and handle one of the best defensive teams in the league. Shocked by giving up those 90-point games to the Knicks in the playoffs. As Marley knocks it off Houston, it'll be Miami ball.
Dan Marley, a defensive specialist, really has done a fine job all year long, shutting down all the other teams' top scorers, keeping Allen Houston away from the hoop. That will be a huge factor this afternoon.
Mashburn's pass to Brown goes awry, and Miami turns it over.
Jamal Mashburn has been playing poorly in this series. Pat Riley, when I asked him about that, he said, look, we just want to get whatever we can out of Jamal Mashburn and try to emphasize the positives. That's kind of what I'm all about today, too.
Shooting 35% of the series is Jamal Mashburn after a disastrous 26% shooting playoff run last year. Thomas turnaround way short. Pretty good defense by Mash that time.
Yeah, you know, Mashburn is an open court player, and he needs opportunities to bring the ball to the rim, shoot it with some freedom, and under a very, very structured offense where a lot of times he will pass up shots he has, he gets himself out of a good offensive rhythm.
He missed those 26 games with that very badly bruised knee he suffered in the opening weekend.
Tim Hardaway. Well, that's probably an encouraging sign for Heat fans because Hardaway, shooting only 24% in this playoff series, hits his first attempt of the game.
Well, let's remember back to the regular season when the Heat got off to a blistering start, had that big lead coming down the stretch, and the Knicks were able to rally. Knicks on one of those very poor starts right now, but they got some history to rely on. Hardaway.
On that play, Tom, Alonzo Mourning set a great blind screen, freeing up Tim Hardaway. The Knicks forced to take a timeout.
Miami on a 6-0 run has taken them to their biggest lead.
Tim Hardaway, when he dips that head, he's looking to shoot it. He puts it down, going to his left. He's always trying to finish. But in this game, he may just put everything up, Steve, and forget about the passing. Terrific block out by Alonzo Mourning.
Well, he got a nice screen, but again, the key in any defense, if you look at Tim Hardaway, he struggled, is to take game 4 forward. He had a huge game 7 when they won that series against the Knicks a couple of years ago. I think that's what he's trying to duplicate this afternoon. You know, when Hardaway gets happy, he starts jumping up and down, and you know his offense is cooking.
But what was it that got him started? Tim was in a real funk at the end of game 3 when the Knicks were killing the Heat. And then he started jawing a little bit with Chris Childs, the backup point guard for the Knicks. And then Childs jumped right in and Hardaway exploded. And ever since, Tim Hardaway has been unstoppable. Childs has got to let Tim Hardaway stay in that funk rather than taunting him into an energized state.
Hardaway 2 for 2 to open this game. Ewing on the low block, checked by Mourning. Shot over. New York has hit only 1 of their first 6 shots.
And that was their first one by Ewing, Tom.
New York's got to find a way to weather the emotion of this crowd and this opening charge by the Heat. That'll help. But Charlie Ward, after the interception, stepped out of bounds.
And Ward made a nice steal, but was too close to the line, and it goes for nothing. I think what the Knicks need to try to do defensively is make sure that they've got pressure on the ball and they are in front of their men every possession. Mashburn 3.
Steve, going back to Charlie Ward stepping out of bounds, how many times in your career did you step out of bounds on the sideline?
Well, I never, but then you got to talk about how many times did I make a steal.
I didn't want to say
that. Yeah, I know. You were emphasizing the positive.
Jamal Mashburn missing the free throw. Everything's gone wrong for him here in the playoffs.
And I thought coming into this playoff series that Jamal Mashburn would be a key performer. Sprewell checking into the chorus of boos that accompanying him.
Well, he still is a key player. If they're going to win this game easily, they need that scoring from Mashburn, which they have not been able to get. Kurt Thomas out of the ball game, Sprewell in. Knicks go a little bit smaller. That means they're going to try to strike quickly if they can. And with the Sprewell out on the floor, he's a freelance player.
Mashburn misses both free throws.
Not even close. This has got to be a psychological nightmare as he just has blocked out all positive aspects of his contribution.
Houston, he'll shoot a pair.
That is when Allen Houston is at his best. Tom, you've seen this young man since his college days at Tennessee when you were calling all his games back there. When he puts his head down and determined to finish at the hoop and get to the foul line, he's unstoppable, as he was last year in Game 5 when he had 30 points in the Knicks' big victory in the I can't take it anymore year.
Houston, normally the most reliable of free throw shooters, 86% during the regular season, misses his first free throw attempt.
Yeah, well, you know, he had a gaze about him. You know, he's normally a looser guy before the ball game, but he had that fixed focus. And I think sometimes when that's not your personality, to get all geeked up, you don't play well. And him shooting free throws is a sign that he's too tight.
They let Jamal Mashburn bring the ball up against Sprewell, and now here's Hardaway posting Ward to Brown for the open shot.
Precision offense. Pat Riley has got them attacking. He's got them feeling confident, not worried about mistakes right now.
Houston, crossover dribble, got some space from Marley, and he nails the shot. Allen Houston, one of the sweetest shooters in the NBA.
Along with Glenn Rice, Reggie Miller, Chris Mullen, Del Curry.
Hardaway for three. Rebounded by Johnson.
Larry Johnson had enough time to get the rebound, turn around, look at Ed Efrush, point to him, and then get up the floor, turnover on the block.
Larry's belt may be too tight, Steve.
P.J. Brown with a block. Mashburn, guarded by Houston.
Tough matchup for Houston as Mashburn just breaks him down off the dribble. Nice play.
Brown for the slam. Brown from Mashburn.
Steve, you call it a tough matchup? The way Jamal Mashburn is playing, I wouldn't double team him under any circumstance.
Well, they didn't double team him, but he just is able to get all the way to the hoop to where then he tries to make a play for someone else, and he was successful with Brown.
Hardaway leads the break. Tim Hardaway missed it. Mashburn with the offensive rebound. Goes back up. Can't get the roll.
Poor shot selection, Jamal Mashburn. You're not playing well. Bring it out. Do the little thing. Play some defense.
Hardaway thought he had the steal, but the foul called instead. It's called on Jamal Mashburn. Miami with the lead early, 14-6 in Game 5.
Effect from fourth quarter of Game 4 to first quarter of Game 5.
Latrell Sprewell to Allen Houston. Missed the shot, but Ewing the offensive rebound.
Houston off to a very tough start. That's not a good sign.
Ewing, Patrick Ewing's second basket as Terry Porter has replaced Jamal Mashburn in the Miami lineup.
Well, he's the only guy who's playing. Houston is 1 for 5. Sprewell hasn't gotten untracked yet. And Ewing, the guy with the injuries, with all the problems, he's delivering.
But it's only a 6-point lead. I mean, it's as much emotion as there is for the Heat and White. All the Knicks have to do is weather this storm, and they'll be in this ball game. Porter hits his first hoop.
Latrell Sprewell has not been the defensive force as the cold shooting for the Knicks continues. 3 for 11 today after a woeful 36% in Game 4.
Marley with a steal off the attempted Houston pass.
Mismatch on Johnson. Morning.
Zoe goes glass with the easy bucket. He has 6 points.
Jeff Van Gundy, the Knicks coach, is going to have to burn another timeout. Their strategy is to force Alonzo to that baseline. That's his weak side. But today, it's all there for Alonzo. As easy as taking on Larry Johnson, saying, forget about me, 1.9 seconds. You guys might not even make it that far today.
10 points, Miami lead. Taunting LJ with that LJ sign. You're watching the NBA on NBC. This is the third year in a row these two teams have taken a playoff series to the limit. Game 7 2 years ago belonged to Tim Hardaway. Led all scorers with 38 points, shooting 6 of 10 from three-point range as Miami cruised to victory, overcoming a 3-1 deficit. Last year, behind Allen Houston's game-high 30, the Knicks won the decisive Game 5 in Miami, cheered on by an injured Patrick Ewing. And in this series now, we're in Game 5. New York shocking the Heat in that first game. 95-75 victory. It's been a wacky series, and the Heat, who were second in the league in the regular season, allowing only 84 points a game, giving up 2 90-point games to the Knicks. Let's check in with Jim Gray.
All right, thanks, Tom. A little bit of a different look for Alonzo Mourning as you see him guarding Patrick Ewing right here. 26 days ago, he fractured his eye, and he's been wearing protective goggles ever since. I asked him about it before the game. He shed them in the second half of Game 4 the other night. He said today, I just don't want them on the face. They've been bothering me. I've got enough to deal with out there. No goggles today. Tom?
Alonzo just picking up his first foul.
I've had to wear those goggles before. They actually made me a lot better looking. But it's very difficult to get adjusted to them at the beginning of your career. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and James Worthy, they wore them for major stretches. But at the initial stages, they fog up. You can't see out of them. They're always getting dislodged when you play defense. The way Alonzo Mourning does is he has a great chance to be the Defensive Player of the Year in this year's NBA.
Already chosen all first-team defensive team. Larry Johnson can't make the save as he sails out of bounds.
The Knicks do a good job this time of reacting to where the ball is. Larry Johnson jumps in and doesn't stop.
A little shot for the Miami fan there.
5 on the shot clock.
Hardaway
Good ball.
gives it up to Porter for 3. That was perfection.
Terry Porter, one of the rare players who can play with the ball, without the ball, plays defense, sits on the bench, just does whatever Pat Riley wants.
And the Knicks got to do it 2 at a time, and they got to realize they got a lot of time left in this ball game. Don't panic. Don't quick shoot the ball. Give themselves chances. Childs against the clock.
So Chris Childs, you heard Jim Gray's report, not expected to play initially, on the floor and hitting his first shot to stop a 7-0 Miami run. Bruised right thigh.
Finally, for somebody besides Ewing. Ewing's 2 for 4. The rest of the team 2 for 9.
Yeah, but it's too early in the game for the Knicks to give up. This is going to be an up and down, change of pace game. Sprewell right at the rim.
And one. Latrell Sprewell.
Must be all the good vibes from Jimi Hendrix. The penetration down the lane, drawing the defense, and Sprewell strong enough to battle through the hard foul. Pat Riley always wants guys to finish it off as the clackers came straight from Steve Jones' hotel room.
3-point play by Sprewell after Porter committed the foul, and New York has closed within 8.
New York is a quick strike team with this unit out on the floor. They get a turnover. Charlie Ward with some quick hands causes a mistake from Tim Hardaway. So all they need to do is just continue to work. There's a ton of time left. Most of the Heat shots come from the perimeter. They're going to reach a stretch in this game where they don't make shots. That's going to allow New York a chance to catch up.
New York has scored 5 straight points in 25 seconds. Ewing had trouble with a pass, and P.J. Brown has it for Miami.
Patrick's limping a little bit more than usual, coming out after extending himself, trying to save that ball.
I'd limp after a play like that, too.
I'll be shaking my hand. Oh, ouch. Marley for 3. Out of bounds. Conference. New York ball.
Mourning aggressive on the offensive backboard, couldn't get it done. Jeff Van Gundy's got to find some sort of offensive scheme here that's going to work. Sprewell only the 1 attempt on the broken play, and Charlie Ward has gotten virtually nobody involved.
Patrick Ewing finds an open path to the basket and slams it home. Ewing has 6 points.
Marley went out of the game holding his hand, but he looks to be okay over there as Vashawn Leonard comes in. Leonard was part of that trio of Porter, Hardaway, and Leonard that had a huge game of putting the Knicks away in the 4th quarter.
Sean Leonard had a stress fracture in the left leg, had surgery back in February, missed the first 35 games, still has a steel rod implanted. That basket does not count.
Tom, I asked Rashawn about that rod. They made an incision at the kneecap area and inserted it. It's a rod that is a full 2 feet long. It runs the entire length of his tibia to try to keep the bone from breaking again. A stress fracture suffered at the end of last season, plagued him all summer, undiagnosed until training camp started this year.
Sprewell picks off the Porter pass.
Well, that's a play that worked very well for them in the fourth quarter, finding Hardaway when Porter penetrated. No chance of completing that play. Larry Johnson against Mourning.
Spinning and scoring. Big time move by LJ.
4-point game.
9-0 New York run. Getting them right back into it.
How's that not traveling?
I think it was traveling by Hardaway. Right. Lob pass. Mourning. Help defense by Ewing. Rebound New York. Sprewell against Hardaway. Got it.
Sprewell eyeing Hardaway all the way, knowing I can just lift right over him. Got that angle. 2-point game.
Final minute of the first quarter. Brown hasn't missed a shot until that one. Ewing hauls it down. New York a chance to tie. Sprewell. Childs the offensive rebound. He is fouled. Sprewell actually had Childs filling the lane on the right. If he'd given it up, they had a layup.
Larry Johnson trying to redefine his game from power to finesse, developing little flick shots after the back has taken away his athleticism, but the Knicks defense has really tightened up, Steve, as they have just denied Miami of late. Sprewell is a player, as you pointed out in the open, Steve, that the Heat really have nobody able to match up with his dynamic athleticism.
He's a freelance player, and in the games where he's played well, all of his freelance abilities have come up, where he's just decided on his own he's going to make a steal out in the open court. He gets to the rim as he did on that drive. When that jump shot is going, which is very streaky, he's very explosive from all over the floor, quickly into the ball game, 5 points in 7 minutes.
And it's always been said he's a great player, but is he a winning player? That's the question.
He certainly has not been, but he certainly teamed up with some winning movements of the electric guitar of Jimi Hendrix, trying to gain himself some much-needed credibility. But I don't know if that's what Jimi Hendrix and Woodstock was all about, Latrell Sprewell.
It's the American dream, that's what Latrell said. First tie since 2-2. We have 30 seconds left in the first.
Hardaway isolated against Childs, knowing what the clock is.
Tim Hardaway, he's found his shooting touch. 6 points in the game on 3 of 5 shooting.
Tom, in last year's Game 5, Charlie Ward, who got faced up that time by Hardaway, had arguably the greatest game of his career. Just controlled the whole flow, got everybody involved, scored well. Today, he has been a non-factor. That's not a good sign for Van Gundy.
Well, if the game is 23-21, he's okay.
Ewing misses. Johnson. Ewing fouled just before the horn. Brown fouled him just before the quarter ended. Ewing will shoot 2.
Patrick Ewing, I was out in front of the hotel with him this morning in beautiful Coconut Grove. And as usual on the road, the fans are there, and they're yelling and screaming at Patrick. They're calling him a bum and challenging him. Come on over here and get some of this. Mike Saunders, the great Knicks trainer, Mike Saunders came onto the scene here, and while these guys were taunting Patrick, he went over there and chased them and just drove them out of the parking lot, pushing their car. These young fans were terrified of Mike Saunders.
There's a free plug. It's something free in there somewhere. I just can't figure out what it was. That's the end of the first quarter. It's been teacher versus pupil. Patrick Ewing outscoring his protege 8-6 in the first quarter as New York ends the quarter on a 15-2 run over the last 4 minutes. At the end of one, we're tied at 23. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Welcome back to Miami as we get ready for the second quarter. I'm Jim Gray. I'm now joined by the president of Madison Square Garden, Dave Checketts. He also oversees the New York Knickerbockers. There's been so much written and so much conjecture, Dave. Does Jeff Van Gundy have to win today to keep his job?
No, being in New York, Jim, those things are going to be written. It's not about one game. It's not about one series.
So if he loses today, he can count on coming back?
Well, I didn't say that. I said everybody's on. What I've been saying, and I mean, is everybody's really on notice because we have a tremendously talented team and a very fine coaching staff that was underperforming this year. But anything can happen during the playoffs.
Phil Jackson's name has been thrown out. Will you attempt to get Phil to not only coach, but also general manager?
No decisions have been made at all, Jim. I like a lot about our organization and our team, and Jeff's done a very nice job for us for a long time.
Now, of course, Patrick Ewing, he has said that he would not want to play for Phil Jackson. Let me ask you just about Patrick in general. Has maybe the time come to part ways with Patrick Ewing?
No. Patrick's been a great Knick for many, many years, and he'll continue to be. I'd like him to retire a Knick.
Would you like him to retire right away if he can't physically continue to play?
No, he's just not healthy. He wasn't healthy to begin the season. His Achilles have bothered him all year. I'd like to see what a good off-season of conditioning can do for him because, as you know, he spent all off-season as the president of the Players Association, and I think that really hurt his game.
Dave, we appreciate you letting us take the time during the game.
Nice to see you, Jim.
A lot of questions to be answered still, Tom.
All right, Jim. Good job. We got some raw meat backstage for you there. If you want to go.
I'm surprised Jim didn't make Dave cry over there.
Well, there are a lot of tough questions that have not yet been answered, dealing, of course, with this New York Knicks franchise. There's the first quarter recap. New York hitting 42% in that first quarter after the slow start, 59% Miami shooting.
What they're able to do right now is get right to the rim. This is something that Riley did not want to see. LJ started the quarter with the spinning drive and missed, came back with that one right there. They have a 2-point lead.
First lead for the New York Knicks, 25-23.
And it's turned around for New York since Chris Childs has come into the game. They've outscored the Heat 17-5.
Hardaway will shoot three after he's fouled by Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward has an angelic look about him, but he was begging right there with Jimmy Clark, running right into Hardaway and gets him. It'll be 3 shots for Tim Hardaway, but the Knicks have got the Heat now shooting under more pressure, and all of the shots come from the outside. So the change in the offensive flow, one team is shooting in the high percentage area, the one on the outside.
Log on to MSNBCSports.com for a comprehensive playoff section entitled NBA Showtime Online. Doug Collins lists key things to watch in the playoffs. Isaiah Thomas breaks down each series. And check back daily as Bill Walton previews every playoff game. That's all at MSNBCSports.com. How do you have time to do that?
I now have a very nice cellular phone.
Every time I turn on the TV, I hear you, see you.
Your worst nightmare, huh?
Just want to make sure you're budgeting your time. Charlie Ward takes it to the rim. Again, Steve, they are able to get right inside and score the easy one.
Hardaway is down, but not out.
When I talked to Pat Riley about Tim Hardaway's resurrection in Game 4, Pat Riley at the shoot-around before the game went over to Tim, and he said, "Hey, Tim, you're one of the greatest clutch shooters. Forget about all the negativity that's surrounding us right now. Your whole life, your whole career is in front of you right now. We trust you. You're our guy. You're going to take us where we need to go. So just relax, have fun, and let that offensive game flow freely."
Leonard comes off the screen firing and missing. Rebounded by LJ. Childs quickly in front court for the Knicks.
Well, Camby came in for Ewing. Allen Houston came in for Charlie Ward, who picked up 2 quick fouls. This is very, very small team, but a quick striking team. Johnson against Moore.
Double by Porter. That left Sprewell open for the three, but he couldn't hit. Out of bounds to Miami. Ewing gets his first rest of the game, and the Knicks have the lead with 9:57 left till halftime. It's New York 27, Miami 24. A lot of Miami fans giving up the water sports today to be at the arena or to tune in on TV for this decisive 5th game. Patrick Ewing and the hated Knicks against Tim Hardaway and the Miami Heat.
Tom, someone along with Latrell Sprewell in the Knicks uniform took a big spike, jammed it in the top of this building, pulled a lot of that energy out that was there, and this game now has turned into something that the Knicks feel that they can control, particularly with the small team out on the floor. Mashburn back in the game.
But what's happened to the Heat offense? It disappeared.
Quick double team of Mourning. He gets it to Porter.
Yeah, but the reason that it disappeared is everything comes from the perimeter against the clock.
Wild shot by Alonzo Mourning, and not a good possession by Miami. The first 8 minutes, 21-8. The last 6 outscored 19-3.
All when Chris Childs in the lineup, making things happen for other players.
This is a bad matchup for Mourning if Johnson just goes to the rim, turns back the other way.
Rebounded by Vashawn Leonard.
Alonzo Mourning has to be able to just take Larry Johnson to the hoop at will, but they can't even get him the ball.
Camby poked it away. Here's Sprewell to Allen Houston, right by Porter. Good score. Weatherspoon the rebound.
Terrific run out by Alonzo Mourning. Allen Houston is 1 for 6 on the afternoon.
Yeah, but Houston can't stop shooting. I mean, he's part of their offensive arsenal, and he's got to put the ball up. In the games that they have won, he's had 20-plus. Weatherspoon blocked by Camby.
Camby rejected the Weatherspoon shot. Here comes Childs. The lob for Camby.
Miami forced to take a serious timeout. And Steve, my question is this horrible Miami offense or great New York defense?
Well, it's a combination of both, but this is a great reaction by Camby because it looked like Weatherspoon was right there to put 2 hands over the top, but he ran right down the middle of the floor. What makes this tough is look at the angle and where his body is in order to locate and throw it down. This is a real athletic play by Camby.
Looked like he was behind the backboard already and reached back to make the play as Van Gundy has to be ecstatic with this 5-point lead.
New York has outscored Miami on the break, 7-0.
That's going to be the difference in the ball game if the Knicks can stay in a breaking situation. Riley is going to say his team has got to have better resolve, but he doesn't have a quick-hitting team like the Knicks do. Mourning.
Jump hook won't go.
Canby out in transition. Canby has played very well in this series when he's got enough minutes.
Allen Houston against Leonard. Trying to find his stroke. Gives it up to Sprewell. Sprewell with a floater.
All of their points are quick-hitting points now with this team out on the floor. And the Heat are like a hand-to-hand combat defensive unit. They can't get hands-on. And if they can't get hands-on, they can't hold, they can't grab, they can't be successful.
A long drought for the Heat, who've been outscored 23-3. Weatherspoon fouled by Childs.
Allen Houston, one-on-one, draws the double team there by Jamal Mashburn and Latrell Sprewell. Why would you leave Latrell Sprewell? The guy's too important to the other team's offense. Just stay at home with him and let other guys try to beat you.
I don't know that he left him, but, you know, he had a shot and went right by him. You know, what the defense philosophy is to run out at the shooter. Sprewell waited for him to come by, went right to the medium range area and knocked it down.
Childs leaves the game with 3 fouls.
And Charlie Ward comes back and he's got 2.
This has been somewhat the story of this series as New York hits Miami with a run in the second and third quarters. They had a 30-2 run in Game 3. And, of course, in Game 4, it was the big fourth quarter by Miami that forced today's game. Houston, offensive foul, hooked Terry Porter. And the hook will cost him personal number 2.
Second personal foul, but you'll watch that arm come out right there. And again, with Allen Houston, he has to have aggressiveness, but with a certain amount of calm. And right now, he's too excited. He's trying too hard, and he's trying to force the issue.
Pick and roll, Weatherspoon from Hardaway. Tapped so good by Mourning, and a loose ball foul is called. We've got a timeout, 6:54 left till halftime. 31-26 New York.
Back in Miami, the Heat trailing by 5. Men are made in the paint in this league, and Alonzo Mourning has separated himself from the crowd. In the 46 games that he played in the regular season, he completely dominated the opposing starting centers, outscoring them, out-rebounding, out-blocking them. That's why he has been the best center in the league this year, has a real chance to win MVP, and maybe will dislodge Shaq as first-string All-NBA center, Steve.
Well, you better go out there and tell them men are made in the paint. You better get scoring. They have scored one field goal in the last 9 minutes. The last field goal this team made in white was the Tim Hardaway bucket with 21 seconds to go in the first quarter. They've been scoring from the free throw line. That means Mourning is either going to have to get to the line a lot, or he's going to have to start finding his touch again.
Well, fortunately, Alonzo has become a superb free throw shooter.
He had 6 points the first 8 minutes of the game, and those 2 free throws were his first 2 points in the last 9 minutes. He and Ewing are all even at 8 points apiece. Ewing, and one. No basket. Foul before the shot.
With every hoop meaning something, the Knicks coaching staff dies on this effort right here. The pop, and the Ewing is going to go and one, and they're going to say, no way, no way. He got fouled twice before he got the shot away.
Where is the foul? Alonzo Mourning is standing there, and Ewing is lunging into him, using his shoulder, his head as a battering ram.
There must have been too much T-Wolves in you. Because now you don't even recognize the foul yet.
That was the second on Alonzo Mourning. T.J. Brown back in for Weatherspoon as Ewing misses on the lob.
That's a great play if the guy's got some legs to get up, but Ewing couldn't get there.
Never lob a player who's playing with severe Achilles tendonitis.
Thank you, Doctor.
7 on the shot clock.
Against Sprewell on the low post, Mashburn fall away. A rare field goal for Jamal Mashburn, his first 2 points of the game.
They try to attack Sprewell defensively because Mashburn's got such a size and strength advantage on him, but Sprewell today is playing some pretty solid defense.
Now, when the Knicks hold the ball, that's when they get themselves in trouble. And they end up working against the clock again. Ewing with 5 on the clock.
Sprewell. Ward saves it for New York.
Bring it out and run the clock.
Houston for 3. Mourning fighting Camby for the rebound, and a loose ball foul on Marcus Camby of the Knicks. Alonzo Mourning returns to the Miami free throw line with 5:33 left till halftime. It's a 1-point New York lead. Miami has only 1 field goal in the quarter, but getting back into it at the free throw line.
Larry Johnson coming in, Allen Houston going out. Houston has only got 1 field goal himself, but the story of this ball game is styles of play. Small team, quick movement, quick scoring for the New York Knicks. If the Miami Heat can pass the ball, pass it quickly, they're going to score over the top of the Knicks defense. Pat Riley talking about resolve in defense.
But Steve, this game has really come to a grinding halt. Tim Hardaway can't turn it back on.
Missed the 3 after Mourning got the offensive rebound.
Pat Riley talking before the game about how there's really not been any continuous good play throughout the series. It's been played in spurts, 5-10 minutes at a time.
Sprewell, after being banged around like a pinball, can't handle the pass. Out of bounds, turnover.
Trying to slide down off the high screen by Camby, and then Vashawn Leonard doing a very good, not Terry Porter, excuse me, defensively.
Miami on a 7-0 run despite only 1 field goal in the quarter. Mashburn misses that one. Mourning tried to keep it alive. He and Ward.
They call Alonzo Mourning over the top. Pat Riley's over there saying no way. The bigger Mourning did get to the ball at the same time. You take one more look at this long rebound. It's going to come deep. Ward, Mourning right there. That should be a jump ball.
Jump ball. pummeling this little tiny 6-foot guy who's just come out to try to get a nice little rebound at the foul line where he's supposed to. Calling for a jump ball.
I thought you always took up for the big man.
Oh, only when they're right.
Morning has to sit with 3 fouls. It comes with 4:47 left in the half. Could be a key point of the game. Chris Childs, since he's gone out of the game, New York has had trouble scoring.
They haven't scored, Tom, since he went out. Somebody should be sitting over there charting the progress.
It's a 3-minute stretch. The problem is Childs has 3 fouls.
Well, again, but it's more the style of play. They've got bigger people in there. They're not moving the ball as quickly. They're not attacking in the open court, and they're struggling to score. Miami's now getting a chance to identify where the ball is going and who the score is going to be. Sprewell working on his own against Porter.
Sprewell steps inside and hits. Latrell Sprewell, the good ball fake. 9 points. New York by 2.
Pass behind Weatherspoon by P.J. Brown. Broke the play.
Porter penetrates. Weatherspoon back to Porter for no shot. Now he steps up and delivers no good. Brown, the offensive board.
Riley wants his team to make the opponent play 24-second defense almost on every good offensive possession. That's what the Miami Heat have been able to do. Steal.
Spoon lost it. Swiped by Charlie Ward.
Every single pass that Miami throws is out of the receiver's triple threat position, so they can never keep anything going. They allow New York's defense to recover.
Larry Johnson got caught in no man's land, and Miami has the ball. Hardaway. Brown tried to save it. Camby scrambled for it. Charlie Ward with a flashback to his football days.
He saw the ball, he said, fumble, I got to dive on it.
Yeah, and quarterbacks don't do that, so that tells you what the weakness of basketball players are, because Charlie Ward sees Marcus Camby go to the floor in this scrum right here, and you watch the foot of Camby. He's kicking, pushing, trying to get to that ball.
Fumble!
How about the forearm to the chin of the Miami Heat player who was smothered under the pileup? I always learned from my football days, Steve, to avoid the pileups. I was a terrific linebacker and tight end.
Don Shula would have approved, although thinking of you as a tight end could ruin his day. Miami in this quarter has still only 1 field goal, 1 for 11.
The best thing that they can say is they're in the ball game. I mean, you know, they should be down by double digits. Camby on the hole.
Dan Marley has returned to the Miami lineup.
Steve, New York's defense is rotating much quicker than Miami is able to move the ball. Miami seems to be stuck in the mud a little bit right now, and Larry Johnson, Marcus Camby, and Sprewell, Charlie Ward are out there really closing out beautifully.
Now, just remember this. In the fourth quarter, where the Knicks got hurt, penetration, diagonal pass. They're prepared for that this afternoon.
And don't forget, coming up next, the second half of our playoff doubleheader, the surprising Sacramento Kings in Salt Lake City to meet the Utah Jazz in another Game 5. John Stockton made it a Game 5. His battle with Jason Williams has been something to behold. He hit that clutch shot to prevent Sacramento from closing out Utah in Game 4. They'll play a Game 5 next here on NBC.
Well, the Game 4 finish in that Sacramento-Utah game, that's as good as it gets. I mean, both teams really played well.
How about how great Vlade Divac has been playing? He'll need one more, though.
Sprewell over Marley. Hauled down by Weatherspoon. 4 rebounds for Clarence off the Miami bench. Inside, Mashburn got it. Mashburn from Weatherspoon, and Miami has taken a 2-point lead. Despite struggling with their shooting, the Miami Heat have recaptured the lead. The NBA on NBC. Thank you, Hannah. And Jason Williams making a name for himself in his rookie season with a crossover dribble. But what about Tim Hardaway? They've got a crossover corner here at the Miami Arena. And what about the top crossover dribblers in the NBA? Those are some we could think of. Who do you think's the best?
It all depends on which yearbook or which rule book they're going to use. I mean, they allow some of these illegal moves, but when you talk about the all-time crossover moves, you're talking about Bob Cousy, Jerry West, Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe, and Pete Maravich.
They were on the list. We're talking Allen Iverson.
Those guys are trying to
Kobe
get to
Bryant.
Well, having been dazzled by Allen Iverson yesterday, he's coming on, I'll tell you that.
Down on the shot clock for Mashburn.
Ewing grabs it for New York. Tie game. Sprewell's been hot.
So, you know, the difference in this ball game, again, has been the ability of New York to strike quickly. Whenever they've been forced to set up, they struggled. Johnson inside. They've got a big advantage in points in the paint. With that hoop, they're 22-8, advantage New York inside.
Miami's guards are not denying penetration to Charlie Ward or Chris Childs, who's on the bench with 3 fouls. That's a big problem.
Ward penetrated that time to make it happen. Offensive rebound, Mashburn back up. Couldn't get the roll, but a loose ball foul is called on New York.
Jamal Mashburn playing like Moses Malone, knowing as soon as he shoots the ball that it's not going in, so he's just pouncing right back up there, trying to get not only a stick back, but an offensive rebound as well.
Why don't you kick a guy when he's down?
Because he's from Kentucky like you and Pat Riley are, Tom. We're just reporting the facts.
I got
here.
you. Mashburn sinks the free throw. Foul trouble for Alonzo Mourning of Miami, and for New York, both their point guards, Chris Childs and now Charlie Ward, have 3 personal fouls. So Jeff Van Gundy goes to his bench and brings in Rick Brunson.
Now, you know, the funny thing about Rick Brunson, he is a player that plays better when he doesn't have to think about setting up a play. If he just runs up and down, he makes very good decisions with the ball. Once he starts setting people up, that's when he starts making mistakes.
But can he handle this kind of pressure, Steve? Miami, New York, Game 5, elimination game.
No, because they're going to have to play half court. If you let this guy get in a free-flowing game, he'll be okay. But if he has to set up, he's going to be a nervous player.
Well, he handled the ball and got nothing done in that series. Dribbled about 10 seconds off the clock.
6 on the clock.
2 to shoot. 1 to shoot. Johnson at the buzzer. Rebounded by Mashburn.
Beautiful tip by Dan Marley. He's open on the weak side, too. Marley.
There's a nice crossover.
P.J. Brown. P.J. is having a good shooting day. He has double figures, 10 points on 4 of 5 shooting. And in the final 35 seconds, Miami leads by 2.
The quick pass by Marley made it all happen. Mashburn pushing him in the back.
Or Hardaway with a reach in. Let's see. Hardaway raises his hand.
Hardaway.
It is number 1 on Tim Hardaway.
Well, they had one to give as they pushed this ball quickly to Latrell Sprewell, and Hardaway trying to give some help, reaches back. Brunson out, Charlie Ward back in for the what should be the Knicks' final possession. Is a 5-second differential between game and clock. Keith Askins in, Brown out, Mashburn.
Dwayne Caldwell's in.
Right. This is the Pat Riley, let's get out of here without any more fouls to our important players lineup.
Ward looks over the offensive set. Caldwell is checking Ewing. Askins is on Sprewell.
Van Gundy said it's time to go, so quickly at 8 on the shot clock, they got to get a ball in the air.
4 to shoot. Ward for 3, can't hit. Rebounded by Marley. Here's Hardaway. 2 seconds left. Hardaway got it up and in.
Tim Hardaway, who has a long history with Latrell Sprewell. They were teammates years ago at Golden State. Looked at Latrell in the backcourt and said, "Come catch this."
Miami ends the half on a 6-0 run at the end of the first half. Miami 41, New York 37 in Game 5. Now stay tuned for the Prudential Halftime Report coming up after these messages. The NBA on NBC. Ready to start the third quarter, and just a few moments ago, Jim Gray had a chance to talk to Jeff Van Gundy.
Outside the Knicks locker room as we get ready for the second half with Jeff Van Gundy. Jeff, Allen Houston 1 for 7. Anything you're going to do to get him going here?
Well, we know we need him to get going, and I think he'll play well this half. We need his scoring on the floor so that we can score enough points to win.
You'd like to run?
Yeah, we'd like to. We've got to get stops and keep him off the free throw line.
Jeff, good luck in the second half. Thank you. Back outside to you, Tom.
All right, Jim, that was Jeff Van Gundy speaking a few moments ago. And on their first possession of the half, Patrick Ewing gets the roll for his 10th point.
First half runs, a game of streaks. Miami went up big. Then New York came all the way back behind Chris Childs, but Childs went out with fouls. Then Miami took it over again.
But it really is the style of the streak. You know, Miami did it early in the ball game with defense and good ball movement, good perimeter shooting, and then the Knicks came back with transition play and scored easily right at the bucket. Kurt Thomas trying to get position against Mashburn.
Kurt Thomas has done nothing today, Steve. They should let him have position.
Ewing. Rebounded by Brown. 7 boards for P.J. Brown. Hardaway tried to enter it, and there's Thomas. Yes, Kurt Thomas with the steal. Ward for 3.
Fine start for both teams.
But I don't think the New York Knicks can live as they find P.J. Brown on one of their few transition opportunities. I don't think the Knicks can beat the Heat from the perimeter. They got to stay with that quick-hitting, fast-moving game. The more they slow the ball down, the more vulnerable they are to the Heat defense.
Skip pass to Larry Johnson. Spotted the 3 on its way. Back rim, Thomas offensive board.
That's 2 rebounds for Kurt.
And Patrick Ewing with a nice move puts it home.
Kurt Thomas has actually played well throughout this series. He's been plagued by foul trouble as he's had to go head-to-head against Alonzo Mourning. Kurt Thomas started his career here with the Miami Heat.
I can't believe a guy gets 2 rebounds, makes a steal, and all of a sudden he's your best friend.
It's called on Kurt Thomas. The foul, you can put that in there too.
He did have 0 points in the first half on 4 minutes. When he was in college, he was a terrific player, though.
Led the nation in scoring and rebounding, right? For Billy Tubbs?
Right. 29 points, 20 rebounds a game. Very few players have been able to do it. I think the total is 6 altogether. And Mashburn out of the box with 2.
Jamal Mashburn, 8 points in the game. New York trails by 4.
Larry Johnson has been reluctant to do anything from the perimeter today.
There's the penetration by Charlie Ward.
They're saying no.
No on the goaltend, but a foul on Miami. And the penetration by Ward has been a potent weapon for New York today.
Jamal Mashburn, a much-needed offensive bucket here. When he doesn't play well, which has been the story throughout this series, very, very difficult for Miami to have any sort of fluidity to their offense.
Charlie Ward. Next Sunday on NBC, it's the Jesse Ventura story. He went from Navy SEAL to pro wrestler to governor of Minnesota. A wild ride. The Jesse Ventura story next Sunday on NBC.
You won't believe this, Tom, but Steve Jones and I all actually go way back with Jesse the Body Ventura. Back in the mid-'70s when Steve and I were on the Trailblazers, we used to lift weights with the Body. Of course, Jesse and I lifted most of them.
Doesn't appear to have had much effect. Alonzo Mourning caught it right at the rim and put in point number 11.
How old are you really? I mean, you know, you've done so many things in your life. If you take a look at Mourning inside, and they get a good quick pass as we take a look up top. And you'll see the Knicks defense lets Hardaway get a good angle where he can find somebody to dish to. Mourning has a chance for a three-point play.
I think there's a lost stretch somewhere in this. I think it was late teens, early 20s rather than in Bill Walton's life. Alonzo Mourning, after it danced on the rim, falls through. He has a dozen.
Tom, the best action in this game has come off guard penetration. Whichever team denies that down the stretch, they'll win this battle.
Patrick Ewing comes out firing in the third quarter. He has 3 field goals in the quarter, 14 in the game.
Well, Ewing right now is keeping them close. They can say all the negatives about him, but the big fella right now is making some buckets, and that's what New York needs to stay in this.
Mashburn for 3. Jamal Mashburn
coming alive,
awakening from his playoff slumber after the penetration and the dish by Tim Hardaway. 11 for Mashburn.
Patrick Ewing playing such a valuable role here as the face-up shooter. Then he comes back and grimacing on. That's got to hurt. I played far too many games myself with that kind of leg pain. Mashburn answers right back, and Van Gundy irate onto the court, cutting off the defensive retreat.
I believe you said earlier that just let him shoot. Obviously, Jeff doesn't agree with that. Pat Riley, of course, when it comes to the playoffs, there is no equal. Pat Riley is the all-time leader in coaching playoff wins by a wide margin over Phil Jackson, the great Red Auerbach, Casey Jones, Chuck Daly, and Lenny Wilkins. An elite list that Riley heads.
You can make the argument that Pat Riley is the greatest coach in NBA history. And I think the greatest job that he's done is with what he's done with Alonzo Mourning.
Ray Johnson misses the jam. Johnson got his own rebound, muscles it back out to Ewing. His shot. And Johnson with another board. Marley slapped it right back to him. Thomas. Apparently all it takes is a few words from Bill Walton to get a player untracked. Thomas and Mashburn. Brown inside, Mourning surrounded. Hardaway.
5 on the clock.
Brown. P.J. Brown has been Mr. Dependable for the Miami Heat today. 6 of 7 he's hit.
But Tim Hardaway is driving into other people's defenders to free up. He's become the playmaker instead of the scorer.
Ewing. Tough shot. Marley couldn't handle it. Charlie Ward kicks it off.
Tim Hardaway ran away from it thinking that Marley could get to it.
Ewing against Brown. A couple of big giant steps and lay it in.
And every time, look at the grimacing. He's pointing over at Van Gundy. He's saying this is getting worse and worse. And he seems to be holding his side a little bit, Steve.
He's a gamer, though. He has 4 in the quarter, 4 field goals. He's been hitting the right ribs. He's continuing. And Jamal Mashburn with another 3-pointer. Mashburn has 14. Tying P.J. Brown for Miami point honors.
And Ewing just had to call a timeout. He cannot continue. This is a disastrous scenario for Mike Saunders, the trainer in the white shirt. Van Gundy, the entire Knicks franchise.
They'll tend to an injured Patrick Ewing as Miami has built a 7-point lead.
Welcome back inside the Miami Arena. I'm Jim Gray. You take a look at Patrick Ewing. It is on this play right here, this layup that he just made, that he twists a muscle in his rib cage. He came over to Dr. Norman Scott and to Mike Sanders, said he just needed to sit down, catch his breath. He will continue. They looked at it. It's on his right side, and he will continue here and play. And the first thing that Alonzo Mourning does is he comes onto the court as he pushes him right there. Tom?
Of course. It's the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Charlie Ward with the penetration and a foul inside on Mashburn with a push of Kurt Thomas.
Yeah, Kurt Thomas was right underneath the bucket. Mashburn couldn't do anything. Had to foul him. But the New York Knicks are riding Patrick Ewing right now. He's the one that's keeping them in the ball game. They need to get back and get more involvement from the other people. Johnson and Houston particularly, those guys were part of that group that brought them back when they got down early in the ball game.
Steve,
Mashburn has to sit with 4 fouls.
One of the problems that the Knicks are facing is they're losing control of this game, so they're not getting to the free throw line. They've only taken 2 free throws since the first quarter.
Charlie Ward to Thomas, blocked by Mourning.
Led the league led the NBA in block shots this year, first time in his career.
Averaging over 3.5, made the first team all-defensive team in the NBA.
The penetration down the lane, freezing everyone, and then the pass off, that allows Alonzo Mourning to regroup. You see the way he had his crouch held throughout, and then a pounce right when that ball was dished off as Latrell Sprewell checked in.
Second foul on Ewing, and Miami has had the hot hand, 6 of 7 in the quarter, but Mashburn, who had hit the 2 3-pointers, has to go out with 4 fouls to see who takes up the offensive slack. Brown. Rebounded by Sprewell.
Sprewell and the Knicks are better when they're in transition and they're quick striking in the open court. The longer they hold the ball, the tougher it gets for them. Sprewell with a miss.
Brown with a rebound. He has 9 boards.
Tom, Patrick Ewing cannot run. Look for Alonzo Mourning and P.J. Brown to push the pace and try to get some transition opportunities.
Now the coach can see he can't run. That's why he got Marcus Camby up there.
Marley for 3. On the floor to Terry Porter.
Mourning asking for the ball against Larry Johnson down in the low post. They won't give it to him.
He should just come out and take it from him.
And they wind up turning it over as the Porter pass sails by Hardaway.
Ewing has to go to the bench here.
That Riley saying, come on, let's get it down to our inside guys, and Ewing does sit.
Mike Saunders in the white shirt over there taking care of him. It's been an injury-ruined season for the Knicks team, and you hate to see it go this way in the decisive game in the first round of the playoffs.
Miami now has turned it over 10 times. They only had 6 turnovers in their Game 4 win Friday night. Tough shot by Larry Johnson. He muscled it through.
Larry's 9th point of the afternoon to go with 7 rebounds and about 30 minutes of action.
Mourning, off-balance shot. It'll be Miami's ball. I think it hit Larry Johnson while he was out of bounds.
It did, but Larry Johnson right now has Mourning a little bit out of control. And, you know, he really wants this ball and he wants to score this time. He just ducks his head, doesn't even see where he is, and he's going to come hard right, no place to go. They're lucky to get the ball back.
10 on the shot clock.
Mourning is fouled. Camby assessed the personal foul, number 3.
Tom, one of the things Alonzo Mourning really has to learn how to do is get into a fluid rhythm on his hook shot, the way obviously the master Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did. The other top low-post scoring centers have their rhythmic plays. Fluidity, I think, is the real challenge for Alonzo Mourning as he tries to go another step higher after he reached the MVP level this year.
The guy is a jump shooter. Forget about his hook shot. The guy is a jump shooter. This is just a bailout opportunity for him. Most of his scoring is going to come when he's facing the basket, driving the ball, playing over the top, or jump shooting. He's not a hook shooter.
He got too extended that time. He's going to have to learn and practice relentlessly with guys pushing and grabbing and holding him to roll that hook very smoothly.
Bottom line, it was an ugly shot. Patrick Ewing can only watch as the Knicks fall behind again by 7. Camby, the nice ball fake, and hit the shot. Tough move by Marcus Camby. Ball fake of Mourning, basket good.
There's a real tendency for Alonzo Mourning, any great center, that when the opposing star like Ewing goes to the bench, you just subconsciously relax, allowing Canby to get an easy bucket.
Porter for three. Back tipped by Brown and saved by Hardaway. Mourning. Tapped by Brown. And Sprewell comes away with it. Let's go to Jim Gray.
Thanks, Tom. Patrick Ewing is on the bench. He is available to return. He's just getting some rest right now. Foul on the play, no basket. He's got some ice on his right side, but keep this in mind, Tom. In the first quarter of this series, all 5 games, he is 11 of 21. In the fourth quarter of the first 4 games, he's 1 of 2, so he hasn't been very effective, and they haven't gone to him much anyway. Tom?
All right, Jim, thank you very much. And, of course, the clock is ticking on Patrick Ewing's long and illustrious career.
And the problem is Larry Johnson can't connect, but Canby keeps it alive and will earn a possession here. The problem for Ewing is that the longer he plays, the worse that Achilles burns. High above the rim, Canby, P.J. Brown unable to put a body on him or anticipate where that ball is going.
You know, you look at Ewing and he's all wrapped up in ice, but the Knicks have been able to stay close. They're only down 5 with Sprewell, Houston, Ward out on the floor. This is their best quick striker unit. They've got to get back to that game. Larry Johnson.
He got it.
Steve, you pointed out that this unit has been playing the best for Van Gundy. Quickness, and Larry Johnson has been able to effectively keep Alonzo Mourning from dominating the pivot.
They got the Heat shooting over the top of the defense. They just need to do a better job of rebounding as they tackle P.J. Brown. It's going to be a foul, Larry Johnson.
I think it was a clip. 2:31 left in the third. Heat by 3.
The controversy still rages around the country whether the New York Knicks are better with Patrick Ewing in the lineup or better off without him, particularly when he's injured. But here in this decisive Game 5, they need Patrick Ewing's ability to score inside, and he was able to deliver at the top of the third quarter to keep them close. This is only a 3-point ball game, and Ewing has had an impact on this one.
Now 36 years old, he's the only Knick remaining from that 94 Game 7 final game against the Houston Rockets.
And I look at the shot chart for Patrick Ewing. 14 shot attempts, which is a heroic, courageous performance. Not how many shots you make, it's how many you take, and he's got 14 up there.
You and Allen Iverson will get along real well.
No, he makes too many.
P.J. Brown connects at the free throw line, and it's 60-55 Miami.
Well, another guy they got to find a way to get in the game, and he's been virtually silent, has been Allen Houston. He's going to have to work as Sprewell goes down low against Porter.
Latrell Sprewell has tossed in 13 today.
Just an indication of how good a player Latrell Sprewell is when he's on. Terry Porter is at the top of the list of defensive guard, and he can stick anybody. And that was just a jumper square in his face.
Miami's P.J. Brown has a double-double, 16 points and 10 rebounds. 3 to shoot. 2 to shoot. Got it away. No good by Marley from three-point range. Larry Johnson has it for New York.
Marcus Camby, who's a much better offensive rebounder than defensive one, has to step up defensively in the absence of Ewing.
Allen Houston for 3. Well, they rotated away from Houston with a double team. He's had a poor shooting game, but he returns to form on that one.
And just that quickly, the ball game is tied, and this is perhaps the way it's going to go, but Van Gundy has a big decision to make. How to keep that small lineup out on the floor to make the Heat have a tougher time in scoring.
First close game of the series.
Allen Houston now 2 of 8 for 6 points.
3 on the shot clock.
Wow. Mourning with a wild shot, rebounded by Canby, and New York, with a minute left in the quarter, has a chance to take the lead.
Van Gundy is urging him, run, push the ball, go, throw it up quick.
Ward for 3. Camby kept it alive for a moment, then Porter grabs it for Miami. 45 seconds left in the period.
You know, the nature of a big game is to be more conservative, and I think if you're going to win the game, you have to be more aggressive. Porter knocks Ward down, doesn't get a call against him. 9 on the clock. Ward.
Larry Johnson's defense on Alonzo Mourning, that time stepping out, forcing it all, has been a huge factor today. Larry's been matched up a lot in the second half with Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo started the game great. 2 for 3 the first 8 minutes. Since then, he's been 1 for 7, Alonzo, over the last 28 minutes, although he has hit 8 of 9 free throws this afternoon.
Tim Hardaway's out of the ball game. Deshaun Leonard's in. The Knicks holding for what they think will be their final shot of the third quarter. About a 5-second differential between game and clock.
Sprewell. Weatherspoon has it for Miami. 3 seconds. Porter gets the shot away. Just rims out as the quarter ends. New York ends the quarter on an 11-4 run since Patrick Ewing was forced to the bench with injury. And at the end of 3, it's Miami 60 and New York 60. We'll be back to Miami after these messages and a word from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC. We start the fourth quarter all even. 1 quarter remaining to decide who advances in the playoffs and who ends the season. If New York wins, it'll be the first 8 to have beaten a 1 since 1994 when that Dan Issel coached Denver Nuggets team and Dikembe Mutombo beat George Karl's Seattle Sonics. And remember, the New York Knicks have never lost Game 5 of a 5-game series. Alonzo Mourning with the first bucket of the third quarter.
Steve, he obviously went between quarters and worked on developing that roll to the hook shot. But the physical play, both these teams know the refs aren't going to call anything down the stretch. The refs have established that we're not going to allow any extracurricular activity, but Alonzo Mourning, there's not a leak in the roof, is there?
Marcus Camby picked up his 4th foul in that play, and as you no doubt noticed, Patrick Ewing has returned to the game.
If they can keep Alonzo Mourning off the free throw line this afternoon, they keep him under control. He gets the 3-point play to start the fourth quarter off. You know, and to put it in your terms, Bill, this is the way that you want a game to finish. Tied up, 12 minutes to play, everything on the line, and we'll find out whether the men are made in the paint or they're made someplace else.
Deshaun Leonard with a foul. Chris Childs is back in the game. Remember, the Knicks got a huge lift from him in the first half. Sprewell drives by Porter and finds Ewing.
Unless you're going to keep Latrell Sprewell under control, those kind of shots will be wide open for Patrick Ewing, Allen Houston, Larry Johnson, whoever.
Ewing now with 18 points. Mourning facing up on his Georgetown rival, and nearly a pickoff by Childs. Marley for 3 with 1 on. A dagger by Dan Marley. 1 to shoot. He nails a 3, his first basket of the game.
If you're Jeff Van Gundy, that hurts you all your way down to your toes. You did a great job of getting them scrambling, and then Marley recognizing the clock. Listen to this crowd.
2 to shoot. Houston.
Marcus Camby all over the offensive glass, but Dan Marley recognizing that the shot clock was not reset when the Knicks had momentary possession, had to let it fly to beat the clock.
Well, they play against the clock a lot, so that was good awareness. Good play for Sprewell.
Missed it right underneath, and Mourning clears it for Miami.
The defensive presence of Alonzo Mourning.
Marley, same spot, different result. Childs lost it out of bounds.
Chris Giles has not had the impact in the second half that he did when he was the decisive player in the first half. Steve, you hit it early when you said that you have never seen or heard the Miami Heat crowd like this. They are ready for blood right now.
Well, the thing is, they think it's a separation right now. If they can make a couple of hoops, they can win the ball game. Leonard for three.
Marley finds Bashan Leonard. And Leonard buries the three. Timeout, New York. 7-point Miami lead. New York and Miami in an opening round Eastern Conference playoff, the decisive Game 5. Alonzo Mourning ready to play. 17 points for the Miami Heat. Tim Hardaway penetrating and dishing. Patrick Ewing, though, keeping the New York Knicks in the game. Ewing, despite multiple injuries, has scored 18 points. But here in the fourth quarter, Miami has outscored New York 9-2. Dan Marley hitting a key three up against the shot clock. And with 9:56 remaining in this decisive game, the Miami Heat lead by 7.
What the New York Knicks have to remember is this has been a game of streak. This is only a 7-point lead. There's almost 10 minutes left to play. Don't panic.
Allen Houston. Allen Houston's had a tough day, only his 8 points. He's not shot well.
The Miami Heat defense has forced the New York Knicks to the right side of the floor. Everything successful for Sprewell and Houston has been here on the left side.
Weatherspoon with a screen. Leonard gets it right back to him. And he's fouled by Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson puts his hands up. Alonzo Mourning has his up for 2 shots. And Weatherspoon's going to go to the line. The Knicks defense gets in trouble whenever they're forced to rotate and scramble around Patrick Ewing. And that's what happens. Larry Johnson ends up picking up a foul. That is 4 on Johnson, who's done a terrific job against Alonzo Mourning.
And another Game 5 coming your way tonight on TNT. It'll be the 5th and deciding game, the Detroit Pistons and the Atlanta Hawks. That's tonight starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. That winner will face the winner of this game.
And Tom, how lucky is Jim Gray? Jim Gray gets to work this game and then fly home and go as a fan to that fine game.
I'm surprised you're not broadcasting. One of the few this week.
Sprewell against Porter.
Sprewell draws the foul.
Again, the left side of the offensive attack here for New York is destroying Miami's defense. With the guards out in front, Hardaway, Leonard, Porter, Marley will force the action over to the right side. They can take away a major part of Alonzo Mourning.
That's his 4th foul.
Now, Pat Riley knows he cannot see Mourning pick up a 5th here very quickly. And if you're the New York Knicks, you got to attack him. You got to put some pressure on Mourning and the officials. Crowd going crazy.
Remember, the New York Knicks scored only 10 points in their Game 4 collapse on Friday night. They trail here by 4. Away from the ball, Larry Johnson with a hold of Alonzo Mourning. And on LJ, that's number 5.
That was not the voice of grandmama.
Now, Van Gundy has to come with Kurt Thomas here, but the holding, the grabbing. And Alonzo Mourning does a very good job of flailing the arms there to draw the attention of the referee. If he had just kept his arms down and remained locked up with LJ, I don't think any call would have been made.
Yeah, that takes an advantage away from them attacking Mourning at the other end.
Kurt Thomas replaces Larry Johnson. Leonard for 3. Leonard had hit 9 of 13 from three-point range, now 9 of 14 in this series. Pat Riley said, maybe I made a mistake not playing him more and playing him sooner. And he had a key three a moment ago.
But Pat Riley always goes with a very short rotation, his biggest defense. Never been a guy who wants to give his starters much rest when the games are on the line. Sean Leonard having to earn his way back after the very serious leg injury with the rod in his leg now.
What they're doing is giving Sprewell the ball and trying to make him find the right play. Ewing.
Up and under, Patrick Ewing, and one.
The Knicks are getting back to the free throw line after that long drought.
Ewing got a chance to work one-on-one against P.J. Brown, coming to his left, a nice pump fake. He'll have a chance for a three-point play to make it a one-point game.
So the lead stays at 2, 69-67 Miami. Hardaway gets a screen, Brown wide open, he doesn't see him. Marley for three. Brown saves it inbounds. Hardaway right back to Brown.
Now Sean Leonard's got the ball. He's not a playmaker. He's a scorer and a shooter.
But, they're trying to find Mourning. 8 on the clock. He takes a look at it.
Over Kurt Thomas, way short. Never rose above the level of the rim, and Sprewell takes it to the other end.
Thomas bumped him at just the right time, took his rhythm right away from him.
Sprewell, Hardaway started to double team. Turnaround by Sprewell, Hardaway takes the carom.
That ball was blocked, I believe, by Sean Leonard. Surprisingly good defensive play.
And neither one of these teams are getting anything inside Hardaway.
Hardaway misses a three. Miami in the quarter is 2 of 6 from three-point range, only 1 of 2, only 2 shots inside the arc.
The big fella's crawling up and down the floor. Ewing just got back, and Allen Houston going one-on-one against Dan Marley.
Jump stop, shot blocked by Mourning, but right to Sprewell. He misses. Ewing wide open for the rebound.
Bring it out. Bring it out and reset.
Ewing will shoot instead and miss. Nothing but white shirts for the rebound that time.
This game is going to come down to fatigue, foul trouble, foul shooting. When you get a chance like that, bring it out and make the other team play defense.
Brown.
You see, there are too many perimeter shots right now. Both teams are settling for the outside shot, and they need to get something where somebody's split, cutting to the basket, some sort of give and go, break down the defense. The defense can see it when it's coming from the outside. Houston holding the ball.
Got away from Marley and hit. Pretty move by Allen Houston to tie the game at 69. Timeout with 5:36 left. New York on a 7-0 run the last 4 minutes. It's 69-69 all. The NBA on NBC.
Welcome back to Miami. 5 minutes, 36 seconds left. We're tied at 69. During that last timeout, Pat Riley told his team, hey, guys, settle down, settle down, settle down. Then he looked at the ball and he said, will you guys run with the ball at every opportunity? The Knicks have one guy out there, Patrick Ewing, who can't even get up and down the court. Tom?
All right, Jim. Pat Riley beginning this season by putting that poster of a championship ring in every player's locker as a motivational device to remind them of what was possible. Porter's shot stymied by Kurt Thomas, and New York will have the ball. You know, Leonard hit a three that gave Miami a 7-0 lead, and New York has come right back. Is that the ring that lies in the future of the Miami Heat? Well, they're going to have to get by this New York Knicks team that is giving them everything they can handle today. Patrick Ewing on him, Lonzo Mourning. Fall-away shot and a tough one. Marley has it for Miami.
That time Miami able to keep them on the right side of the court.
Porter tried to draw contact. No whistle. Then he dives to save it. Mashburn back in the game, and they'll settle it down. Now to Mourning.
Sprewell and Hardaway didn't want to dive.
Alonzo Mourning.
That is their first hoop since the Vashawn Leonard three-point field goal at about the 9-minute mark. They've had another one of those droughts. Mourning bails them out. 2-point game.
5.5 minutes they went without a score. The 4 to shoot. Childs hits a three. Chris Childs has given New York a 1-point lead. Their first lead since it was 37-35 late in the second quarter.
How will the Heat handle this adversity? Childs wasn't even supposed to play today with that serious thigh contusion.
Yeah, they're going to look for Alonzo Mourning to try to make things happen, but they've been working a lot against the clock of the defense. Mashburn on the drive. They get a call against Thomas.
Kurt Thomas guilty of the foul. Jamal Mashburn took it to the rim. You know, the new arena opens up for Miami next year. If this is the last playoff game in this arena, it's a whale of a contest.
Thomas unable to move his feet quick enough to stay with the shorter, more agile Jamal Mashburn.
Mashburn, his first free throw could tie it. Tonight on Dateline, Flojo sprinted to Olympic gold. Her sudden death shocked us all. What really killed Florence Griffith Joyner. And Jim Gray was telling me today he did the interview, the piece, and he cried all the way through it. He said it's one of the saddest interviews he's ever done. Jim Gray on Dateline tonight. And following that, the movie event, Atomic Train. Dateline and Atomic Train tonight on NBC. After 2 game 5s. 3:42 left in this decisive game 5, and Miami leads New York by 1.
Now the game plan for the Knicks, whenever they had to set up, was to go through Sprewell on the wing. They isolate him and then try to make it happen.
Sprewell.
Terry Porter is doing one solid job.
Marley steps in to pick off the pass from Childs. New York's first turnover in 24 minutes. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Hardaway to Mourning. Driving on Ewing. Finding Mashburn. Rebounded by Childs.
When Alonzo Mourning penetrates, he shouldn't be looking for Jamal Mashburn. He should be trying to find Marley, Porter, or Hardaway.
Houston lost it.
And Wiley's telling his team to run, and that's what they should do to try to bust it open. But Hardaway throws it right to Larry Johnson. And the Knicks ought to come back with a quick effort themselves. They slow down, let the Heat defense set up. When they've been able to set up, they've been able to shut down the New York Knicks.
Larry Johnson, guarded by Mashburn.
8 on the clock.
Spinning baseline, up and in. And Miami takes a timeout. Larry Johnson's bucket has given New York a 1-point lead.
No way that Jamal Mashburn has the strength to play with Larry Johnson. Alonzo Mourning a little late coming over on the rotation, and the Knicks bench celebrates.
74-73 New York. You're watching the NBA on NBC. It's the decisive Game 5 in Miami. The New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. The winner advances in the playoffs. New York leads by 1, 74-73. The only time a number 8 team beat a number 1 team in the playoffs came 5 years ago in the Western Conference when the Denver Nuggets, coached by Dan Issel, came back from a 2-0 deficit, winning the 5th game in Seattle to beat the Sonics, much to the delight of Nugget center Dikembe Mutombo, a picture that we'll never forget. And now New York bidding to become only the 2nd team in NBA history to knock off a 1, and they have never lost in a decisive Game 5.
2 minutes to go, plenty of time. Riley's trying to get something going to the hoop. They know the penalty situation is going to be coming up. Mourning against Ewing, 7 on the shot clock.
Alonzo Mourning, the jump hook rattles down. Alonzo Mourning has 21 points. Miami goes up 1.
And that was just their second field goal in the last 7.5 minutes. Huge droughts in each half for Miami have allowed New York a chance to win this game.
Ward misses the 3. There have been 4 lead changes in under 2 minutes. And right now, Miami has the ball up 1.
They're coming right back to Mourning.
Yeah, they're going to milk the clock. It's at 10, and then they're going to come again. Mourning against Ewing. Mourning trying to use his quickness. 5 on the clock.
Mourning forced almost out of bounds and a shot clock violation. Mourning waited too long, and when he made his move, Patrick Ewing was right with him.
And Patrick Ewing used the baseline as an extra defender as he pinned Alonzo Mourning. This is what this series is coming down to. The 2 great franchise centers head-to-head all the way to the finish.
It'll be New York's basketball when we return to Game 5. Heat by 1.
During the break, they play nothing but inspirational messages, and you can see why. Tim Hardaway apparently fatigued and out of gas. He has been a struggle for him. Had a terrific start, has not scored here in the second half, and what they want is one more time. Dig deep. Let's see if we can get one more stop and get a win.
Tim Hardaway only has taken 2 shots here in the second half as he's playing just on sure willpower here.
Miami leads by 1. New York has the ball, ticking down for the 1-minute mark. Patrick Ewing against Alonzo Mourning. Fakes, fires, no good. Rebounded by Terry Porter, who is immediately hammered by Charlie Ward.
Tom, down the stretch, the little plays for Miami have come from Terry Porter and Dan Marley. Steals, great defense, diving for balls. The teacher-pupil relationship on full display, the little hitch that only the real great ones have ever mastered. Patrick Ewing, though, a season of frustration on the brink here of elimination, can't get one to fall. Ewing has 20 points, but he's 0 for 3 over the last 7 minutes.
Throughout his career, Porter has eaten these situations alive. He's been a terrific clutch free thrower. Let's see how he approaches these 2 that would give them a 3-point advantage.
58.5 seconds left. Porter has given the Heat a 2-point lead, and coming up, another decisive Game 5 from Salt Lake City. The Utah Jazz hosting the Sacramento Kings. That's Game 5 of that series coming up next.
Steve, you know better than anybody that this is the moment that Terry Porter lives for. This is a guy who's put his body on the line. He's got all the scars to prove it. Now he's got a little bit of ice cream here at the foul line.
Terry Porter with 2 clutch free throws. What an off-season acquisition by Pat Riley. Some criticized Riley for maybe standing pat. He picked up 1 major addition, and Terry Porter pays off with 2 crucial free throws. Back after this from your local station. Terry Porter dropping in 2 pressure-packed free throws to give Miami a 3-point lead, and sometimes it's too much to watch. Miami by 3.
And for the New York Knicks, they have a lot of time. What they've got to do is get a score. This play has worked the best for them. Sprewell on his own.
Latrell Sprewell, offensive board, Ewing, and he's fouled. Patrick Ewing will shoot 2 free throws with 39.7 seconds left.
Of all of the New York Knicks, the one guy that has the easiest time getting the shot is Sprewell. Fighting across the middle, elevates just a little bit too long, but that leaves Ewing free for the rebound.
First free throw is good. That was the 5th foul on Alonzo Mourning. Patrick Ewing hitting only 60% of free throws here in the playoffs, but he dropped in the first. And he made the second as well.
Miami unable to take care of their defensive backboard. They give up a jumper in the lane, and then Ewing just outworked everybody else, giving his team one more chance.
Well, Miami's offense is designed to use 24 seconds, so the Knicks are going to have to play some defense, and then they're going to have to be ready to rebound the ball.
Hardaway lost it. Larry Johnson has it for New York. Here's Sprewell. 20 seconds left. Timeout, New York.
Tim cannot believe it.
19.9 seconds on the clock. A 1-point game after this Hardaway turnover. At the 19.9 second mark, Miami leads New York 77-76. It'll be the Knicks basketball. Here's the offensive production for New York today. Who do you have take the shot if it's the final shot?
I'd have Steve Sprewell. He's the one who they banked the turnaround of this season on. He's the one who poked away the ball defensively that time to give him that chance. Latrell Sprewell can go either way here. He's the kind of guy that can just explode, get his own shot. Don't look for him to pass, though, if he gets into the lane.
The winner of this game will face the Atlanta-Detroit winner in the second round of the playoffs. Well, the loser will have a disappointing end to the season.
Alonzo Mourning went over and told Tim Hardaway, you turn everybody to me. Don't worry about it. We got one more stop. We'll win this game. They all are trying to pick up the spirit of Tim Hardaway, who's had a tough series and a tough second half when it looked like they might have had the game won with the final possession. That is sweat from the Iceman.
But Miami has the lead. And they have a terrific defense. And they have the defensive player of the year in Alonzo Mourning.
Charlie Ward will inbound the ball. Mourning is guarding Ewing. Sprewell being defended by Porter. Here's Sprewell. 15 seconds. Ewing.
There's some confusion right here. They got to get the ball in the air.
Sprewell, 6 seconds. Out of bounds. New York will get it, but only 4 seconds to shoot. And 4.5 left in the game.
That was not a good set. The Knicks have to get themselves 2 chances to tie or win the ball game. 4 seconds. Van Gundy calls a play a triangle. That usually means something for Ewing. Out in Houston.
Houston ducks under. Got it! With 8 tenths left.
Miami will argue shot clock violation here. Allen Houston slices through, and very reminiscent of a regular season game that we had last year. Shot clock not a factor at all, easily before it expired.
Well, the shot clock shouldn't have been on because there's only 19 seconds to go when they had the final possession. Looking at how much time is left in the clock. Remember Allen Houston, the last time we were here, and he tipped the ball in and they took the basket away. This time Allen Houston is legit. He is the hero on a tough day. He seals the deal with 8 tenths of a second left, though. There's still a legitimate shot left for the Miami Heat. Pat Riley, he's drawing like crazy right now. Van Gundy, he might live for another day.
But sweet redemption for Allen Houston. 1 of 7 in a disastrous first half. He's come back in the second half, hit 4 of his 6, and maybe the series winner with 8 tenths of a second left. Let's go to Jim Gray.
Well, the officials are convening right now. They're talking it over. There was 5 tenths of a difference when they inbounded the ball from the shot clock and the game clock. They originally put up another 1/10 of a second, and then Jim Clark came over and said, I saw it 8 tenths of a second, so the clock will remain with that. Tom?
All right, Jim.
Well, you get a look at the clock as the ball is going up. There's 2, the ball dancing around, comes down. That's almost a full second when that ball went through the hoop. So, you know, the Heat, they need to go back and beg for another 3 tenths. But right now, there's a lot of rejoicing, but still, this game can be taken away from the happy New York Knicks right now with 1 play to the hoop. This is a catch-shoot situation or a catch-and-drop situation for Mourning and the Miami Heat.
That season that began with a poster of the championship rings could all come to a close right here in the final 8 tenths of a second. Will the dream stay alive, or will there be no championship ring for Miami this season?
Alonzo Mourning, the only big man, tough to backdoor him. They'll be focusing on that. Marcus Camby denying Marley on the inbounds pass. Miami still with timeouts.
Delay a game warning on the Knicks.
Now, Deshaun Leonard is telling Jimmy Clark he's holding me, trying to get some sort of help from the officials on any kind of play. They got to get the ball in, and it's got to get up in the air. Porter
Got it away. No good. Just missed. And the New York Knicks have become the second team in NBA history to knock off a number one. An 8 over a number one, only the second time in NBA history. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. I'm here with Patrick Ewing. He congratulates Chris Childs. How did you manage to play this game? You could barely walk, and you were having trouble breathing.
Well, I just had to suck it up. This is, what the playoff is all about. We worked hard to get here. It was a struggle for me all year. I mean, there's been a lot of criticism, but I didn't care about that. I just had to suck it up and just come out and do whatever I could to help the team to win.
Patrick, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. I want to say hello to my father.
Okay, back to you, Tom.
All right, Jim, as one would guess, between these two rivals which play so intensely and who have played almost on even terms over the years, this one came down to the final shot. 78-77, New York wins. So long for Steve Jones, Bill Walton, and Jim Gray. Tom Hammond sending you to Bob Costas in the Kings Jazz game.
Thank you very much, Ann. I'm here with Allen Houston, the game-winning shot. Allen, how did you guys manage to pull this off with so many guys beaten up and battered?
I don't know. The Lord was with us today. When God's with you, anything can happen. I think we just stuck with it. I think, earlier in this series when we got down, we didn't keep our poise. And I think tonight we kept our poise. And we just played smart basketball.
After Game 4, realistically,